Dark Brandon is rising.
Oh.
So in wider news, Joe Biden has been doing a bunch lately, but the thing that's got everybody in a recent uproar is his recent student loan forgiveness.
Why is that an uproar, I wonder?
I mean, it's only like it was a campaign promise that he had.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But according to this thing, if you make less than $125,000 a year and have a student loan debt, you will be entitled to a $10,000 cancellation. Married couples who make less than $250,000 yearly will qualify for a $20,000 debt cancellation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something.
I mean, nothing, but from a governmental standpoint,
I mean, it's definitely not.
come on.
It's probably not cheap for them to do either. But
definitely not.
The window of like income or whatever is a little bit higher than I thought it was going to be. But
yeah, for sure.
From the window to the wall, to the strip dip down my balls.
So,
but I mean, good.
So we're going to read this not Yahoo News article, or read from the article, and then we're going to go ahead and have a little bit more discussion here. So the Department of Education notes that it will continue to process applications for federal student loan forgiveness as they are received, even after the payment pause expires on December 31st. If borrowers don't apply for forgiveness by November 15th, they will have more than a year to still apply, all the way up until December 31st, 2023. But their loans will enter repayment before they are forgiven, if they wait beyond November 15th. The best bet is to meet that November 15th deadline.
Nearly 1/3 of borrowers have debt but no degree, according to the analysis by the Department. Oh shit, that sucks. Department of Education of a recent cohort of undergraduates. So 1/3 of borrowers have debt but did not manage to actually acquire their degree. Yeah. Students dropped out because they couldn't afford the high cost of going back to school. About 16% of borrowers are in default, according to the White House, including nearly 1/3 of senior citizens with student loan debt.
Yeah,
I guess that's a demographic I hadn't really thought of too much when they talk about student loan debt, is senior citizens.
Yeah.
Well, senior citizens being students, that's just silly.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that's silly. There's probably some of those senior citizens that are fucking still paying off their student loan debt from when they were fucking in their 20s or something. The way that they set those loans up sometimes.
School was quite a bit cheaper back then. But anyway, the White House noted the student debt burden also falls disproportionately on black borrowers. 20 years after first enrolling in school, the typical black borrower who started college in the 1995 and 96 school year still owed 95% of their original student debt, which is pretty crazy. But what do we think? Have a little discussion on it here.
I mean, is that 95% just due to, like...
Somehow I don't think it's a race thing, really, in this case.
Well, I mean, is it due to a
societal problem?
Is it due to it? Are their loans different than everybody else's, or like?
No, it's just
higher interest rate, or they're paying.
It's just on average
paying minimums, or
on average, those families are more likely to be using some of their paycheck to pay for other family members. And I think the second place for that is, our demographic for that is Latino populations also very often will take a portion of their paycheck and pay, for extended family or whatever, to kind of help them get by. And also just as a demographic, black and Latino people tend to, on average, make kind of less money, just because of, our country treated them like shit for like a long ass time. You know what I mean?
Right.
On top of, a lot of many Latino communities started off maybe a generation or two generations ago, maybe started off as immigrants, which you don't get any of those, you know,
But so
great
either
benefits or whatever.
that part's obvious to me. What I'm saying though is, how is it only 95% when? I mean, obviously they're probably making payments on their loans, but I'm guessing with the interest,
Yeah.
the principal is just taking up such a large chunk of that.
Yeah.
And like, I'd be curious to see like how much they've paid in principal or interest towards that loan, because it's saying they still owe 95% of their original student debt. But if they didn't have that principal on top of it or all that interest, how far into their how much of their loan would have been already been paid off is what I'm curious about, because they're probably paying minimums. When you pay minimums, like you're just paying interest.
Yeah.
Well, the mandatory minimums are something also with basic loans from like bank loans and such. But I don't see how this has to do with the Roald Dahl classic children's book, The Borrowers. I really don't.
Okay.
I don't even know if I've ever heard of that book, but
You never heard of The Borrowers?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell, anyways.
Well, it's a Roald Dahl children's classic.
What is a Roald Dahl children's classic?
Roald Dahl is the one who wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh yeah, I had no idea who wrote that. I figured it was Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he says.
So you're telling me that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is not a autobiography? It's not a true story?
I would say not.
Okay.
I would say not. I mean, I suppose it's possible, but
Maybe
Inspired
just
by a true
inflated.
story, maybe?
Yeah, it's
overinflated, yeah.
yeah, a little bit like killing children and stuff. Well, I guess they didn't get killed. They just got
Those children got killed.
Oh, they did. Absolutely, they did. Absolutely, they did. No question.